Well, good morning. It's Tuesday, the 13th of May, and here I am back in Tallinn Airport. It seems a long time since I was last here for all my trips to America, Singapore and South Korea, but this time I'm not going quite so far, going to Rome to a European Space Agency conference, which looks very interesting. And so waiting here for my flight now to Helsinki, of course, to start with, and then off to Rome, where I shall be landing later on this evening.
Right, well, here is my hotel for the week, the Hotel Flora. The main building looks very, very nice, and that's where breakfast is, but not where my room is. I am in the garden annex over there, which is another very, very nice nice building. So let's have a look. Let's have a look there. So walking up the marble staircase outside. So rather modern sliding doors and a nice atrium with stairs leading up to the second floor. And inside, very nice little room with a rather small TV, of which I haven't found any English channels. A nice bed, two very hard pillows. There's a little shower and all the usual stuff, including something to wash your feet in there. On the desk is a kettle, which I haven't found able to work. And the other thing that I've noticed, there seems to be only one plug socket that I found that I can use to charge stuff, and that's there. But other than that, the room fits the purpose beautifully. Well, it's day one of the conference, Wednesday morning, and here I am in the central square of Frascati, waiting for the transport to the Space Agency building. This is very Italian. There are lots of cars and lots of people everywhere. It's making me feel quite agoraphobic after Tallinn, where there are not many people. Very, very different atmosphere. Lots of young people here waiting presumably for their buses to school, and very exciting atmosphere. It'll be even more exciting if my bus actually turns up. It's due to come at 8 o'clock. I think this is the right place, and so fingers crossed a bus with a prominent sign saying Space Agency will be here. But in the meantime, I'm just enjoying being in a different country and in a very Italian atmosphere. Well, the bus came and has taken us to the entrance to the Space Agency. This is probably a really bad picture filming into the sun, but I'll take another one later. So our group is now walking up the hill towards the meeting or conference venue. Very nice, few people on the bus, and I'm certainly expecting to see a few more later. This is the worst film ever. This is right in the sun, but I hope you can see what is going on. Right, so I've made it into the conference hall, which is very impressive, with some nice things to look at, and the big hall itself, where the conference will take place, is very impressive building, with of course lots of models of satellites and the flags of the ESA nations up there. And so it's nice to get here a little bit early to be able to see everything before the crowds arrive. And so after a good morning of presentations from various companies, we're now off on the experience tour. Not quite sure what it entails, but we will find out. Just had a spot of lunch, which was very nice, and with lunch on, people are now torn between going for lunch or the tour, but I think I can probably do both. And so walking down the main road with these rockets on the side, and our tour is pointing us in the right direction. I have to say, as we're walking through the buildings and through the sites, this is almost a advertisement for coming to work for the European Space Agency. It's superb facilities and very, very spacious, with good outdoor restaurants and everything. They certainly look after their staff here. And Building 11, which I think is where we're going. So it's the end of day one, and after a very interesting day of some good presentations and the fascinating tour, we've been brought by bus through some very windy roads to a vineyard, and this is where we shall have the evening reception in this vineyard, which is lovely. And I think we have some wine tasting, some snacks, and then a full dinner. So it looks as though it's going to be quite an interesting, long, and very tasty evening. Here comes the bus. There was about sort of 300 of us trying to get on this bus, and we wondered why it was such a small bus. And then we saw the roads that we had to traverse and realised there was no way a bigger bus was going to get on the roads to get here. So anyway, here we are, and let's see what comes around and try the wine. Okay, and here is the first wine to taste, the sparkling wine. So cheers. And moving on to the vineyard itself, and a bit of a guided tour as well, I think. But certainly the view is spectacular from here. Oh, and we are continuing to walk to perhaps see a bit of a tour. Well, there's nothing like a bit of history, and to be told that originally, before it was a wine cellar, this was used for collecting water, and it was built originally by the Romans 2,000 years ago. So really quite amazing as we sample the wines with the barrels around us. And now at the end of the conference, the Space Agency has kindly given us all a goodie bag. So let's see what's in it. Firstly, there is a notebook which I can give to somebody perhaps. People were commenting how heavy the goodie bag was. Well, that's because it contains some spaghetti, which is perfect for a Italian conference. We also have some ESA branded olive oil, which is very nice, and a pen and a pair of socks. I've noticed that socks seem to be the in thing for souvenirs at the moment, and a nice paper bag as well. So thank you very much, ESA, for the souvenirs at the end of a very nice conference.
Sono una persona onesta, voglio prima chiedere se qualcuno l'ha perso. Se non l'ha perso nessuno, me lo prende e me lo porta a casa mia.
And so now, being all cultural, this is the Museum of Frascati, which contains lots of items which were excavated during for the Roman period and before. Apparently there was a culture, civilization here even before the Romans. This museum has been here for 25 years and contains lots of very interesting artifacts. And we've seen lots of olive trees, and here would be amphora used to transport the olive oil. The building itself is very interesting and quite echoey. I'm just not artistic, but some of this modern art just doesn't really do it for me. Noughts and crosses gone wrong. Some lines on black. I think this one's upside down. And this looks as though he was just trying to clean his brushes. However, there's a nice view outside. A lovely day. This looks more like a carpet on the wall. And this one, well, orange and black, they go well together. In an area like this, there must be so many items of architectural interest, but you can imagine with so much that somebody digs in their garden and finds something which is of Roman origin, and they proudly show it to the museum and say, look, I found this. And the museum think, oh great, thanks so much indeed. And then say, oh, just shove it around the back, we've got so much stuff. Okay, good morning. It's Monday and I'm in a bit of a mess. It's partly my own fault, so here is some important travel advice for you. I got a message on Friday to say that there was industrial action in Helsinki airport and there may be disruptions. I subsequently, on Saturday, got an email to say that my flight from Rome to Helsinki and then on to Tallinn, that first flight had been cancelled and that I will be sent alternative flights. So obviously got a bit stressed about that and waited to see what would happen. What's really important is that I get back to Tallinn today, as tomorrow I have a hospital appointment. So I was quite keen to get back and I was all set to phone Finnair. However, Finnair then sent me an email and I thought, this is fantastic, because Finnair said, we booked you on these flights, you're going to go 10:30 from Rome, you're then going to go to Frankfurt and then from Frankfurt to Tallinn, and you'll be leaving slightly earlier and arriving slightly later, but everything will be fine. So I thought, great, okay, no action to be taken. However, when I tried to check the booking online, it said I was waitlisted for the second flight. Now, I wasn't sure whether I was waitlisted for the flight or for, oh, hang on. So I was going to wait and check in. And I assumed that the problem was either I was not going to be on the flight itself or an upgrade or whatever. So I thought it would all be resolved here at the airport in Rome this morning. So we got an early taxi. That was a good thing to do. Got here really early. That's great. Went to check in. My bag was checked in all the way to Tallinn. However, at the check-in desk, they said, you're on standby for the flight. You're not confirmed on the flight from Frankfurt. You need to phone Finnair. Okay. So I phoned Finnair, and because I'm platinum, got the platinum line. Finnair lady was absolutely fantastic, no problems at all. She said, we should not have put you onto a standby flight because there were lots of flights we could have put you on. So she went to give me all these options, including an early flight and everything else. The problem was my bags were in the system going to Tallinn. So
the Finnair lady said, get Rome to just cancel the second flight and I'll put you onto another flight from Frankfurt. Fine. No, that couldn't happen. So essentially, all my flights have been cancelled. And Finnair have given me another ticket for today, going from Rome to Amsterdam to Tallinn, getting in at 8, 9 o'clock tonight, which is fine. The problem is my bag is in the system. And so I'm now waiting at the baggage claim for my bag to turn up at some point before I can check in again for my next flight. So the lessons are, 1, as always, never get separated from your kit. 2, never ever accept a standby flight. Just don't do it. Book another flight where you've got a ticket. And hopefully, if my bag turns up and I'm waiting an hour or an hour and a half or so, I've got time, because my next flight is until 12:30. So hopefully the bag will turn up. I bimble over to Terminal 3, I check in, go to Amsterdam, go to Tallinn, and all will be fine. But of course, if my bag doesn't turn up here, and then I miss this flight to Amsterdam, then I'm on the phone to Finnair and it all goes horribly wrong again. So there's some real lessons learned there, of which the main one is, if a flight's cancelled, check early to make sure you've got seats on the flight. Never, ever, ever accept a standby flight, because it's just not worth the hassle unless you really have nothing else in your life to do other than sit around at airports, or if it's phenomenally cheap and you can just afford to wait. But at the moment, here I am in a abandoned baggage claim area. I'm told that my case will arrive at baggage claim 25, belt 25. So hopefully that will pitch up. What is sad as I'm here, this is the lost and found gate, is that there are random suitcases everywhere. There's just bits of stuff, you know, people's lives in possessions. There on claim 24 is a suitcase that's just going round and round on its own. Hopefully this baggage claim 25 will burst into life, and my case will appear. But behind me, there's a pile of suitcases waiting to be claimed. So the system is great when it works, but when it doesn't work, it's a problem. Finnair are doing the best they can. They made a mistake with putting me on a standby flight. I made a mistake of not phoning them as soon as I realised that and getting it sorted out. So some lessons learnt, and even though I'm a fairly seasoned traveller, we all make mistakes when things go wrong, and we learn the hard way. So let's hope that my bag does turn up at some point in the next hour or so. Look, my bag, it's appeared, and it wasn't a huge wait, but here it is. Oh, magnificent. Right, okay, now to rush along to Terminal 3 to check in for the next flight. So far so good. I've never been so pleased to see my bag in all my life. Okay, so after all the excitement of checking in and going to Frankfurt, and then not going to Frankfurt, and now going to Amsterdam, everything else has gone remarkably smoothly, with a check-in, transfer and everything else within Rome airport. And now walking to the gate for my flight to Amsterdam, with some rather nice Roman statues, which is nice to see, reminder of where we are and the history. Rome airport is massive and incredibly busy, but does seem to be quite efficient. I think my flight is due to take off slightly late, but due to land on time, I believe. And then it's a bit of a rush around within Amsterdam to find the flight to Tallinn, and I shall be mighty glad to get back. Okay, I'm at the gate, and to add to the
trauma of the day. The gate is on the lower level, which means it will be a bus to the plane. And I have to say, I absolutely loathe taking buses to planes. It becomes a fight to get on the bus, a fight to get off the bus, a complete bum fight to get on, and it's a thoroughly unpleasant experience. I always sigh when it's a bus to the plane. Okay, well, here's a bit of a postscript to this travel nightmare that I had. I made it back to Tallinn eventually, however, my bag didn't. So I flew okay, fine, to Amsterdam. From Amsterdam to Tallinn, that was all fine. Bag not, and it took 3 days for my case to finally turn up in Tallinn. That was very much the fault of Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam. Every time I've been there, I've had a problem with that airport. It's too big. Baggage handling seems to be bonkers. So ultimately, it was a fantastic trip, but the journey back was a bit of an adventure with lots of lessons learned. But anyway, thanks for hanging out to the end of the video, and I'll see you for the next one.